Okay, so we're going to go in here to the cPanel, and this is where we log into the hosting, where we can set up the WordPress website and do the installation. So you can see on the address, you can basically do this by going to something called cpanel.yourwebsite.com. And once you log in, and those login credentials are something that you've gotten basically from in your email address or to your email inbox. And once you're logged in, then you basically just kind of scroll down this page, and you're going to look for the thing called Software and Services and go to Fantastico, the little smiley face. And then once you go in there, on the left side, the second thing down is Blogs, and there's WordPress as the third option. Just click on the word WordPress, and then it'll open up on the right. And what I'm doing now basically is just removing an installation I had on this address before, so that for the purpose of this video we can kind of take a look at a fresh new installation. So I've gone ahead and removed that. You could do the same if you decide that you don't like WordPress and you want to go with something else. You could basically go into Fantastico here from the control panel and then just remove it. So, and then basically just click on the control panel icon to go back. And so now, basically what you've got is, this is the place, your cPanel login, your hosting account. This is where I would typically go to install WordPress, make some tweaks to the server so that the site moves a little faster. This is also where I would set up your email accounts. So for your personal, or for your the email accounts that associate with your website address. So you at yourwebsite.com. And then, as I mentioned before, basically this software and services box is where you find that Fantastico button. And this is basically, this is what it's going to look like whether you're on like Bluehost or HostGator, which are a couple of the big hosting companies. Things change, over time. So, when you log into your hosting account, don't be surprised if it looks a little different. But what you're looking for when you sign up for these hosting accounts is a one-click WordPress installation. And so that's, when they advertise one-click WordPress installation, that's kind of what this is. So let's go back to Fantastico. We'll open it up and click on WordPress. And then now, kind of the second third of the page down there, there's a thing called New Installation. Let's click on that. That's basically what we're going to do and that's going to automatically install a database for us, a MySQL database. It's going to upload and unzip the WordPress.org open source software, basically. And then, once you click it, you're going to be in here for the installation instructions. And if you've got several domains, then in that drop down you want to choose the one you want to install at, and then you've got a directory box here where I'm clicked, and in this you basically are allowed to tell WordPress to do its sub install, which is basically where you install WordPress at youraddress.com/WordPress, for example. And this you could do for testing, or demo. But basically, if you leave it blank, you're going to install WordPress on your what's called your root site directory, and that's where most people go that type your web address. But if you want to do some testing or something like that, then add a directory, and you could do kind of a second install of WordPress if you want. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is enter the admin access data, and this is where you're going to have a login and password for WordPress. That's how you get into the control center or the dashboard. And a lot of people just leave that admin. It used to actually, when it installed WordPress, it would default to admin. The reason they changed that, and the reason you want to use a different username here is because one of the primary ways that hackers and malware and bad software get into your WordPress website and attack it is through your login page. So if you leave it admin, then you're just basically making it a lot easier for them to get into your website. And so your first line of defense is to basically set up a pretty strong login type name, which could be something longer. It could be your email address. It could be something that's got a couple of symbols in it, that kind of thing. And then, of course, you want to have a good password as well. And then once we get installed, I'll be showing you some, a plugin to use that will also help prevent some of those attacks through the login page. Next, you want to, set a nickname for the administrator. So this could be your name, and this is where it displays, the admin nickname is what shows on your blog post. So that's all the reason that's important. And then, of course, you want to change the email address here. On this, it basically just adopts an email address based on your host login. So that email doesn't exist yet, so you want to put in one here that you use, because this is where, when you reset your password for the website, if you ever need to, that password reset email will go to that address. So finally, you've got the site name and description. So these are things you can change later, so you're not sort of married to anything you write here right now, but this is what's going to appear at the top of the site on the top left corner. So it could be your business name or your website name, and then you can have in the description box is basically WordPress's what they call the tagline. So you could say something snappy there if you want. Now, if I click install WordPress right now, it's going to fail on me because I didn't have a admin login and password anymore. So let's go back and go ahead and enter that stuff. Okay. Just make something up here. Go ahead and click install, and then I can see that it's spinning away there. So now it's telling you the SQL database has been created, and they've unzipped the WordPress into the folders. So you can click finish. Excuse me. So this makes it a lot easier to install WordPress than uploading these files via your FTP site and manually creating a MySQL database for those. Okay, so here are some of the details about the installation. And down here at the bottom, you could basically get an email with these details sent to you. I recommend doing that. It's always good to have these on hand. And then you'll also notice kind of midway up the page, there's a link that has your URL here, /wp-admin, and that's how you log into your WordPress site. So that's an important address. You don't necessarily have to worry about keeping that one right now, because I'll show you another way that you can log into your site. But that's basically, yourwebsite.com/wp-admin is how you get into to log into WordPress. So that's all we need from the control panel. I'm going to log out here. Now basically let's go to that website, and we can see this fresh installation. Now keep in mind, if you just basically set up your site, if you just pointed your domain names to the correct name servers and just done all this in the last 5 minutes, there's a chance that you won't see your WordPress installation yet. You'll see a advertising page at your domain or something like that, and you won't see WordPress. That's fine. Don't worry about that. In this case, we see it right away here. So, but here's also, as I mentioned before, another way to log into the site. Just down on the base install, there's a meta box, and underneath that is a link to log in. So I typed in wp-admin, after the address, and let's go ahead and get logged in so you can see what the dashboard looks like. Okay, so the first thing I see here, and this is the case on a lot of WordPress installations, is that we're on a version old WordPress, so you're going to see a bar at the top that says please update. We might as well just do that now since we haven't actually done any work on the website, just in case something bad happened during the install. We're not going to lose any work really, so let's update now. You're also going to see some other things to update, like plugins, sometimes from that view, so nothing we need to worry about yet. Okay, this automatically updates, so we're in good shape there. And once it's done, then you're basically going to have a, at least at this point when I'm making this video, this is what your dashboard is going to look like. Again, fortunately with WordPress, it's pretty stable, so you don't really see big changes, into the future. So even if we're on, if you're watching this video and it's time for WordPress 4.5, then most of this information will still be completely correct. So the first thing we want to do is add that plugin I was talking about that helps prevent attacks on your website. And what we're going to do is on the left side, click on plugins, and then we're going to click add new. And you can see you could click add new from either the left menu or at the top of this page. And then we're also going to just kind of clean up the plugins we've got installed here. So let's go ahead and delete both of these. Good plugins developed by the creators of WordPress, so I just don't personally use either one, and if you don't need a plugin, don't leave it installed on your site. Okay, so now we're ready to add that. It's called limit logins, and so we're going to go ahead and add new. Type in limit space logins, and then search. And as of right now, on that search, limit login attempts is the name of the plugin. It's the second one in the list. So you'll see it there. You can go ahead and click install now. Excuse me. So just a quick note on plugins. Basically, when you're searching through them, you'll see they've got ratings. If you hover over those stars, you'll see how many people have rated it. You could search for plugins for just about anything. Okay, so it's finished installing here. Let's go ahead and say activate plugin, which is the left side of the two links at the bottom. So, yeah, but going back to the plugins, kind of check out the ratings. When plugins have 20 or hundreds of thousands of ratings, and they still have 4 or 5 stars, it's pretty good, pretty safe plugin. It's going to work with your installation, that kind of thing. I'll do a separate video that talks more about plugins, but anyway, let's go ahead and activate this and wait just a second for it to install. Okay, and so basically we have limited login attempts, and under the settings on the left side you're going to be able to see a little more detail about what this plugin does, but it basically just like I said before, helps prevent people breaking into your website through the login screen. So if we go into settings, we can kind of look at, we'll just leave the basic settings, that should work just fine. Okay, so once we're in here, we can kind of see how many retries it lets somebody try. So basically, this is going to work against you too. Like if you forget your password, you could get locked out. And what's going to happen is you get 4 tries, and then basically you have to wait 20 minutes before you can try again. If you try that a few times and you still can't get in, it's going to lock you out for 24 hours. So This just helps the sort of what are called brute force attacks on your login screen, where they just try, thousands and thousands and thousands of iterations of login attempts, within a short period of time, to break into your website. So, all right, let's go on the settings. Let's go into the general tab here, and this is where I wanted to point out, like I mentioned before, you could play with your site title and the tagline here, so you didn't have to worry about it before in the cPanel. And this is also, I didn't change the email address back when we were installing, but you can change it now, and I recommend it being a good email address that you can be reached at. The rest of this stuff isn't a big deal, in terms of membership and default new member roles. You can set those defaults here. I like to change the time settings because, frankly, even if I do post, which I do on a couple of my websites almost daily, I don't really care to have the date associated with it. So, basically what I do is go to custom on the dates, and I just delete everything that's in that box. So let's do that now. And then for the sake of there being something in that display at the top of the posts, I do leave the time. So I'll just leave that alone. Let's click Save Changes. Okay, and let's go to the next button here called Writing. So essentially what we're doing is just a base install of WordPress. We're just kind of flipping through a couple of the things that are good to set. There's nothing big here that you really need to worry about, but at some point when you've started writing on your website, you may have different categories, and you can make your default post category something other than uncategorized. We'll kind of go through that more when we start talking more about posts and pages. Okay, let's go to the reading link here. Okay, reading settings. Now this is an important one because as you see where I'm at here, the front page displays. Right now it's always defaulting to your latest posts, but if you're a small business or something like that, or you're building business websites, you want to point the front page to a static page usually, and that associates to these pages over here on the left side. So you may have like a home page, and so once that page is created, you come back here, click the button by a static page, and then in the drop down you just choose the home, select home page, and or whatever you've named it, and then that will be the first page that people see when they log in or when they visit your website. And then the post page is basically for blogs, so you set up a page called blogs and then associate it to the post page. Alright, so let's go to discussion, because this is another one. I don't deal a lot with comments, rather than dealing with all the comment spam and stuff, or paying a service to do that for me. I basically just turn them off on a lot of business websites. That's mostly just because, there's not a lot of interaction anyway, so, this just saves you the headache of dealing with, a lot of comment spam. And you'll get some, one of those plugins we deleted, Akismet, helps prevent comment spam, and there's a small fee every month or year for, a license for that, a commercial license to block the spam. So you can consider that if you really want to have that interaction. All right, so, but what I basically do is I just turn off, allowing people to post comments on new articles, which you can kind of see at the top of the screen right now. And then, just talking about the comment settings, if you do have them on, you do want the comment author to have to fill out some of their information. They're going to anyway. They're going to, probably hope you're linking back to them. Okay, and then here I've just deselected the email me whenever boxes. I don't, want my email box filled up with, a note every time somebody comment spams me. So, again, you may feel like you want to kind of watch that for a while. So no big deal. That's a completely fine. Just know that in the discussion area is where you can turn that off if you get tired of it. Finally, you can kind of see, that you can set some different things as far as like avatars, comment moderation, that sort of thing. Maybe what I'll do is just a separate video about comments altogether. Okay, so next what we want to do is go down here to permalinks, and we want to make a change here because this really affects the SEO of your website to the extent that on-page SEO stuff really matters anymore. It does matter. It is still important. You can see here the default settings are to name your posts and pages by number. We just want to either change that to a custom structure or a post name. This way, if the title of your blog post is, my blog post about eating, and that's an SEO term you're trying to rank your page for or your site for, this way it'll show up in the name rather than just a number. So it does help with SEO. Okay, so let's talk quickly about themes. I know this video is going long, so I just want to quickly point out, if we go up here to appearance and then themes, this is where you basically control the look, or what's called theme, for your website. And WordPress is very portable this way. You can install lots of different themes and kind of choose from the best one for you. All you have to do is click Add New to search through the directory of, I think there's paid and free themes in here. I know there's mostly free, but I think you can find some paid ones through this now. Or you can click Upload up at the top if you've bought a theme, from a third-party website and downloaded it to your computer. Just upload the zip file here. Keep in mind it does need to be a zip file, so if it's not zipped, then it won't recognize it to upload. And that's kind of what we've got, for themes. There's a lot of themes to choose from. Instead of making some of the selections here in this window, I recommend just going right in, just clicking search and just viewing everything that's there. And just kind of browsing it for a few minutes, because you'll see a lot of different stuff. And you may not know at this point what kind of color scheme or how many columns you're going to want. Most themes are pretty flexible with that stuff anyway. So those are things. And then of course, you may be able to, again, buy your own third-party theme to upload as well. So let's start thinking about wrapping up here. I think what we'll do in another video, like I mentioned before, we're going to talk about posts and pages separately, and we'll also go into themes and the appearance of your website in more depth in another video as well, because this is where, in the appearance, where you control what appears in the menus, what appears in the side menus of your website. Those are called widgets in WordPress. And and then you may also want to modify your header, for example, to put an image from your company in there. So we'll go through all of that separately. Thanks a lot for joining me.